Hey, Rick Harsch here. This is a booktube, kind of an update on what's updating and dating up on the dating site, Rick Harsch booktube, growing a samizdat.com books, given preferential treatment. I would love to talk about the Olaf Palme book, but I think maybe it's time to bring you up to date on the Chandler Broussard as the wolf howls at my door first. I thought it would be done this week, and then I thought it would be done Monday, next week. Turns out Monday's a holiday. The translation for that holiday, which is Easter Monday, it's called Big Monday. I don't know if it's any bigger than any other Monday, but that's what they call it here. They got they kind of overuse the term veliki, which is big. We got a square called veliki trg, which means big square. Under the Italians, it was called Garibaldi Piazza, and you can see now why the fascists from Italy get away with so much shit, because the rest of the world likes their language so damn much. But yeah, it's rightfully a Slovene square, but if they don't change the name soon and the function, it's not being used as a parking lot. Completely asinine. It's historic. This is a working class. I'm sitting outside, just on the promenade. There's the water and all that. A good place to sit on a day like this. It's going to be about 20 degrees. It's probably 20 degrees right now. Do your conversions. Anyway, the problem with the Broussard book is that, well, we calculated without the introduction. And our expert on Broussard, is probably going to finish the introduction today. And I think it's going to have the title, "This Book Kills Fascists." And I think it's going to be his last introduction to Broussard was brilliant and short. I think this is going to be brilliant and long. And then he's going to send it to Stephen Moore for editing and typesetting. And then we'll send it to the publisher. But the publisher is just now today applying for an ISBN number. And she probably won't get that until Tuesday. And, well, then a couple days to print the books. And so I kind of, sort of urged her to get it done by at least next Friday, because, people have already paid for it. And I want to get it to them. Some of them paid for it with other books, so they're not even getting the other books. It's a little cheaper to match them up like this in many cases. So that's the story with As the Wolf Howls at My Door. Now, I don't know. I don't like to have this thing. I don't know that guy, but the other guy is. The one sitting is my good friend Istok, but I can't even see my face now. There I am. Okay. The other two books. One is by W.D. Clark. He's a Canadian, and his book is called "She Sang to Me, She Sang," and I haven't read it, but I have read two pieces of work by Clark that were told me that the guy's a writer. They were extremely good. This one, though, is a challenge because it's about real estate. And, I was thinking that probably I'd start my, if I do the summary of the book, I'd probably start with nothing's more boring in a novel than real estate. And then I would mention the book by Whitney Terrell called "The King of Kings County." Pretty lousy title, I think. But and also about real estate. What kind of a chance does a book like that have? I don't know how well it did, but it was published by Penguin, I think, and it was really good. It was a really good book. The thing is that all of us I mean, we're talking about basic shelter issues here. And so that's of quotidian interest to every single person on Earth, except for those wealthy and secure enough to not have to worry about it, or people with ancestral homes. We have some of that in Isla. They're old buildings that need a little upkeep and so on, but they get passed down from generation to generation. And but people like me, I live in perpetual shelter insecurity because I got a really nice break on an apartment in Isola, so I moved from down the coast to Isola 14 and a half years ago, and the landlord is from Nova Gorica, which is about 2 hours by car from here, much quicker by helicopter, and she's got two grown children, one in Nova Gorica, the other in Ljubljana, and luckily the kids decided they didn't want, the adult kids, didn't want this apartment for a summer vacation spot. I got the feeling our landlord talked the kids out of it, said, look, you got a family there, you know, and so we do pay a lot in rent by Slovene terms, which is to say that compared to the cost of or the average income, we pay quite often. We pay, if you include utilities, at times we pay more than we take in just for the apartment. Now the actual figure is 550 euros, and the utilities average at least 100 to 150 over a year's time. That's the average monthly, so we pay close to 700 a month. A university professor with just a basic master's degree gets paid 1,200, and so when I made that much, I was getting. I have a master's in fine arts, and that got me the standard 1,200 a month. Although I worked many half-time jobs, I actually for a while was making about 2,500 a month, but that was working four jobs and more. It wasn't tiring though, because teaching energizes me. But the people I teach with bring me down. Anyway, those were the olden golden days, and they are of yore, and but not of your concern. Don't worry about it. Point being that every single day, in a sense, my family is uncertain, and we have contracts, but they're usually for 1 or 2 years. And you know, someday, you know, maybe the landlord will die, or you know, whatever. They'll just want to get it off their hands, and even if they just want to sell it and they don't want a shitload of money, we don't have. I don't know what is less than a shitload. We don't have. Well, we have shit. It's the load that's missing. Yeah, so we just absolutely have shit. So we could not afford to buy the place. So it would be bought from under us, and then now we live in this area because we're on the coast. Slovenia's got only 47 kilometers of coast. So even though this isn't a mecca of tourism, it's a tourist town with tourist prices. And to try to find another apartment of the size that we have, it's got 2 bedrooms and a nice balcony. But to try to find another one like that would be impossible if we didn't go inland about an hour or so. So, you know, we couldn't stay on the coast in, you know, comfort, living in the grand style, I say, just because of the balcony. But you know, everything's smaller here than you imagine in the United States. You know, the fixtures are smaller. There's less water in the toilets. You know, Europe is older standards, and you know, if you're lucky, you've got at least a bidet. We didn't get a bidet with this place, and every day I want a bidet. But that's that's what I want to say before I know much more about the book about real estate. Um, I'm hoping that what that book does, she's saying to me, what I'm hoping it does is deal effectively with, he's a funny guy, at least in some of what I read, it's funny, um, what I read previously. And so I hope he does this with some humor, but at the very least, he's going to get at the effect of the housing crisis in 2008 on some people in Canada who are, and you really can't summarize it in terms of action without making it sound a little dull. These one person wants to move to a better neighborhood, and another person wants this, and it's a triangular deal, and that's inherently dull. So the characters are extremely important in this novel, and we'll see how that works out. I think it's going to be excellent, based on what I've read before by him, and then the next book actually is not going to be that one, because it's time for me to bring out a book that came out in 2017. It was out for about 2 months, and it sold out. 200 copies in Slovene, 100 in English, and it's never been put out again in English. And I have an artist, you've seen, I posted, no, you've seen, I don't know, this is YouTube. You go to Instagram, you'll see photos of the book. It's called Wandering Stone, The Streets of Old Isola, because so over there you got about 50 streets, and you can talk about 50 streets pretty quickly. But it's, of course, more than that. It's basically a writer's ramble through an old Venetian town. Last night I went through the questions that my typesetter had, and he wanted to know why Venetian. Why not Venetian with a T? And I thought, well, the town is called Venezia. Venice is what everybody knows, but in Italy, it's Venezia, and if so many people can pay so much money to visit that town that it's threatened even more now by humans than by pigeons, they're trying to get rid of the monster passenger cruise ships. They won't let them dock in certain places, and that's good because some of them are bigger than the islands they're about. It's a monstrosity. Anyway, if you want to do humankind a service, blow holes in the hull of every giant passenger boat you see. Do it when it's on land, and then people won't die. If you know your explosives, you know what to do. I'm not here to tell you. But the thing is that book has missed 3 straight tourist seasons. It's the only ciao. That's the only book about Isola, and only Isola, in English. So it's going to be done in a week or so, and so it'll be coming out pretty close to the same time as The Wolf Howls at My Door. I need to get a lot of them out. The mayor told me that he was going to buy 1,500 euros worth a year and a half ago. I've been told since not to expect that to happen, not by the mayor or anybody in the municipality, but by people who know how things work in Isola. But even if he doesn't, the book's going to sell well. I'm going to have a 3-level price on it. The original cost $22, and it's under 200 pages. Depending on what we do with the setup, it could be anywhere from 150 to 200. I really don't know, but if it were even 200 pages. Um, we're going to do it in a pocket size. And so that book is going to be 14 for tourists, 12 for the government, and 10 for the peasants like us, or you, or even if you're not a peasant. In this sense, you get the peasant price. So, yeah, it's going to be the normal 10, but 14 for the tourists, which is because it's a much better looking book now, and it's going to be, and it's improved. It's been revised. There's some real horrible nonsense written on it by the last publisher. I didn't get to see ahead of time, so I couldn't approve it, and it was just really stupid. I mock it in this book, and the guy said, the typesetter said, "Are you maybe speaking a little too much from anger?" And I thought, well, no, not really, and it's perfectly appropriate. But it also was his giving me pause was a chance to make it to say it in a more interesting way. So I did improve it, and you won't, and he won't say too much out of anger. So I don't know how long this has been going on. I guess only 16 minutes. So there's time for a discussion with his talk. This is a YouTube video for my press, Corona Samizdat. Now you have how many books of mine? 2?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3. But from the recent press, do you have 2 or 3? You have Skulls of Istria?
Yeah.
Okay. You have the baseball book?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Walk Like a Duck. Can you walk like a duck? Can you show? Okay, never mind. So, but you also have, do you have the circumnavigation through maritime history?
No.
Ah, okay, so he's got 2 for sure, and he's an old mariner. I mean, he's not that old, but he was a mariner. Were you not? A maritime person. You worked on boats.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This is an old poor maritime town. Fishing, salt, smuggling, basically, trying to fuck the Venetians in any way possible. But that their best idea for that, it's typical Slovene, is their best idea, if they don't like the way something's run, the best idea they have is to get another umbrella. Instead of figuring out how to make their own umbrellas. So they wanted to get under the Habsburgs. Would you say that's a fair analysis?
What?
I'm trying to say that when Slovenians don't like their leadership, they seek new leadership instead of creating their own.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have a fascist now. Is Janša fascist?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, okay. So now Slovenia is run by a fascist, and it's a parliamentary system. And in a parliamentary system, it's very easy to get rid of someone that's a fascist. Because now Janša has about 20%. His party has 20%. But all you need is 3 liberal or left parties to say, look, here's a basic platform. Better wages, higher taxes, crack down on corruption. And that's what we'll agree on. That's what we'll focus on. Environmental issues, maybe, create some jobs, but simple shit that everybody would agree on. And then you got 3 parties, they can easily get over 50%, get Janša out, and no more fascist. You have basically neoliberal bullshit anyway, but it's better than fascism sometimes. And well, so in the past, what I'm trying to say is in the past, they would scheme to try to get out from under the Venetians. They wouldn't try to become independent. They would try to get under the Habsburgs. Maria Teresa, can you help us? Not on the coast, I can't. It's true. It's true. Trieste didn't tax, but the Venetians wouldn't allow the Isolani, the Isolans, to go trade in Trieste, which is nearby,
Yeah.
because it was under the Habsburgs, and so
Habsburgs.
or Austro-Hungarians or whatever, you know. But anyway, they weren't. It took a while for Italy to get Trieste back. That's the spark of irredentism, which has never really gone away. There's a fascist, artificial
Please.
fascist genetic in the Italian
Yeah.
body politic. Okay, that should be enough for now. He's talking. You want to say good night?
Hey, good night.
Good night. Yeah, good night. It's you know, as you can see, it's getting dark out here.
Yeah.
Thanks for bothering.